This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Fast Break for our second video. Officially back. I said back a lot last video, so I'm going to keep doing it so that Dave gets triggered a little bit.
Back to back.
Welcome back into the Fast Break. This is our second total ranking video. Today we're doing shooting guards, 30 through 1, obviously starting lineups. Before we get into that, I'm here. My name is Jake Neverman. I'm here with my co-host, Ricky Widmer.
We didn't do laundry. We're wearing the same clothes as we wore on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, we are. I was like... and Dave Oster.
Yep, still here.
Opposite sides again. You'll get used to it.
I'll get used to it eventually.
Left is Dave,
here.
right is me. Raise your right hand. Yeah, that's me. That's what I thought. Okay, right is me, left is Dave.
Ricky's here, Dave's here. Understood. It's because the camera is reverse.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Whatever that means. We've gotten derailed already. Welcome back into the Fast Break. Today we're doing, like I said, shooting guard rankings 1 through 30 in the starting lineups. Before we get into that, down below in the description, please check out the Patreon for you can be watching this actually recording live, like Oscar was earlier in our point guard ranking. You'll see us reference him. He was in the comments section. And also, down below, check out the Discord. Discord's free, like we've said previously. Any sport, even if you're not into basketball. Well, I don't know why you clicked, but if you're not into basketball, if you're into football, if you're into soccer, if you're into wrestling, whatever, we got Discord channels down below. We got great Patreon and just Discord members down there. Conversation is usually flowing in the NBA season. Hopefully, we're heating up again. We're getting back to prime MVP here, MVP. But yeah, I don't think I forgot anything. I will say, disclaimer, I'm going to do this in every first video. Disclaimer, these starting lineups were done as predictions of the starting lineups on night one. You will not see Kristaps Porzingis. You will not see Mitchell Robinson. You'll see Al Horford. You'll see Julius Randle in there in place of them. This is our best shot. I understand if you disagree, all right, with somebody that's in a starting lineup. I get that. Nobody can read the coaches perfectly. Nobody could be a Nostradamus. We went for as accurate as possible and kind of what we would do and what we think they're going to do. So
we did not use real GM.
That's awful. They're awful. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Real GM, they're making a comeback.
Please keep that. I get it. If you want to outrage at us and call us idiots for having somebody in some position, it's not really too much. There's going to be one in this guard ranking when we get to near the top that people are going to be like, that guy's not a shooting guard. But really, honestly, the NBA at this point is positionless basketball, so just get used to it and get over it. All right. If you want to be involved with us, like we said, the Discord draft content will be starting later in the year as college season comes. We want to be interactive with you guys. We want to get mail rooms. We want to get mail bags done for draft content.
We'll get text messages. Give out your number, Jake.
Yeah. You can text me right here. We want to get all that. We want to be interactive.
We have the same phone case.
Do we? Yeah, look at us. Gosh, that's weird. We want to be interactive. We want to get in tune with you guys. But before we derail ourselves even more, let's get into the 30 to 21 of the shooting guard rankings. So starting at 30, we have from the Sacramento Kings, Keon Ellis. At number 29, we have from the Denver Nuggets, Christian Brown. Number 28, we have from the Detroit Pistons, Jaden Ivey. At number 27, from the Los Angeles Clippers, we have Terrence, Mr. Untouchable Man. Number 26, from the Washington Wizards, we have Jordan Poole. 25 from the Utah Jazz, we have Colin Sexton. 24 from the Milwaukee Bucks, which is interesting to say, is Gary Trent Jr. Number 23 from the Atlanta Hawks, Bogdan Bogdanovic. Number 22 from the Golden State Warriors, Pods. I'm just going to call him Pods. Let's see. Was it Podziemski? I don't even know how to say it. Podziemski, there you go. And at number 21 from the Portland Trail Blazers, we have Shaedon Sharpe. So as per usual, Dave, I saw you making some faces on the rankings.
A lot of reactions here.
Yeah, go with your gut. What's the first one you want to touch on?
I mean, I think we could all just appreciate the fact that Jaden Ivey is right near the bottom. I do think that might be something that we see this year. You know, him not being a starting shooting guard very short into the year. I think he's probably at a high risk. Like we all the focus, I feel like in the offseason, the conversations have been around the Nuggets and how do you replace KCP with Christian Brown, and like, oh well, maybe somebody else will step up. Maybe they can do this. Maybe they can do that. I feel like Jaden Ivey somehow is just fallen under the cracks by the liberty of being a Detroit Piston, where he doesn't get the coverage. But that team has overhauled their lineup, as you heard me talk about in their previous video. And I almost.
Oh my gosh, Dave is starting a villain arc on the Detroit Pistons on episode 2.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
He did it on 11 through 30. If you didn't check out the 11 through 20 on the point guard list, Dave had a rant on the Pistons already. Sorry, continue.
I think that he's kind of the guy in danger because I do think Christian Braun is a solid fit in that lineup. Like, yeah, he needs to step up his game, sure, but he fits the lineup from like a what do we need out of this guy. Keon Ellis, same thing. Like, you can't put anyone else in that starting lineup for the Kings because they need defense. If you're going to be having anyone between De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan, you need defense. Keon Ellis, excellent defender. I don't know if his shot will be as excellent as it was to end last season, even on low volume, but he was just a fantastic shooter for them when they needed it. So I think Jaden Ivey kind of is the guy who's like, I'm looking at it going like, yeah, he's really good with the ball in his hands, and he got better. But is that the guy you want next to Cade Cunningham? Got better. Is he the guy you want next to Cade Cunningham? And I don't believe that's the answer. I still think he is an odd shaped block in that lineup that they need to either transition to a bench role, but then they have Marcus Sasser, who really good bench point guard already. So I'm not quite sure what they're going to do, but I do think that like he's a high volume, high usage. He's like worse Russell Westbrook as far as like what you get out of him. And that's sort of my concern.
Ricky, any thoughts?
I mean, looking at these lower ones, I mean, Jaden Ivey, is he good? No. That's why for me, let's see. I'm looking at the combined. For me, I had him. I might have had him too high. I had 3 people below him. The guy I think that's really high in this section, and maybe I'm being foolish here. How is Jordan Poole not the worst shooting guard in the league? This guy is garbage. This is not, we're not talking Warriors Jordan Poole. We're talking Wizards Jordan Poole where players go to die.
I just want to, for Ricky, you had him last, right?
Yeah, dead last.
Dave and I both had him 19, so Dave, you can take. I just want to add context.
Yeah, no, Jordan Poole is capable of being that guy. That's the point, is he is a good player.
But he's not.
He just had a year on the Washington Wizards, which I'm pretty sure everybody understands what's going on in Washington. Secondly, he did start the year horrendously. He finished the year very well, though. Like, if you slice up the season into quarters, again, Wizards team playing for literally nothing. Somehow they did get through to him. And like, that's when we saw the best out of Denny Avdia. That's when we saw the best out of Jordan Poole. I think both those guys thrived to end the season. And we saw Jordan put up almost, I want to say shooting splits weren't exactly as good as they were on Golden State, but that stretch at the end was pretty much what you should expect out of Jordan Poole.
And I had to Google it. He's still on the Wizard, so
he is indeed still a Wizard.
Not 19. I wouldn't have him in the top 20. That's for sure. Maybe 30's a little me being a hater, but I would definitely not have him in the top 20.
He's a capable scoring guard, and he should, in my mind, like, I see him the same way, and I don't want to spoil, but like, I see him in a similar vein to guys who have high volume roles, like a Jalen Green, like a Tyler Hero, in that same grouping of like, even Anthony Simons. Like, this is a guy who you bring out for offense. I think he can do a lot of things offensively. I think defense, yeah, you're not going to get much, but you're not getting much out of any of those guys. That's literally, this is the role where everybody can just get away with not playing defense. Like, that's just, we all are okay with that, right, guys?
Whenever I hear you say he's capable, I think, yeah, and I'm capable of hitting a $50,000 parlay, but guess what? I ain't. Yeah, exactly. He's capable, but he won't.
Would you like to jump in here, Jake?
Yeah, I think Jordan Poole. First of all, I just want to lay it out there. I still blame Draymond Green. Still lost everything in Golden State, and
so should we just start calling Jordan Poole Tim Anderson? He got his talent punched out of him.
No, that's not reference. That's a great reference, but I don't think that's what happened. I think the Wizards, again, I think context is key. I think context to everything in their season. I think when Keefe became their coach, they kind of got more of an identity and actual played basketball, because Unseld had absolutely no idea what he was doing. He is as bad as Steven Silas was in Houston. Like, they both had young players that they needed to mold, and it's my same problem with Chauncey. At least Chauncey gets the mental side of it. These two guys, they did not know what to do, and I don't think I think silent. Like some guys, they say it in football a lot, Ricky. Like some people are meant to be coordinators.
Yep.
Some people are meant to be assistant coaches.
Yep.
Steven Silas is an assistant coach, like because he is very good on the player to player side, right? But the player to X's and O side is where I see a lot lack. But when Keefe came in, they kind of gained a little bit of an identity, and Jordan Poole got better as the year went on. Now, I'm not here saying that Jordan Poole is phenomenal or like a top shooting guard in the league or even a top guard in the league. I think that he is still very good, but I don't think he's ever going to reach the level that he did in Golden State again. I think what he did in Golden State in that year and a half, 2 years, whatever you want to call it, was fantastic. He was well above expectations, right? But I think there are other guys in this list. I think there are a clear bottom two. I think Braun and Ellis are so far below everybody else in this list, which again isn't really a knock. But when you look at the bottom five, right? Jordan Poole, Terrence Mann, Jaden Ivey, Christian Braun, and Keon Ellis. I think the Mann to Ellis, the bottom four, there is such a drop off from where Jordan Poole is in our rankings, where they all do stuff. Like Ellis and Mann, elite defensively, right? Braun, I don't know yet, right? I don't know exactly what he's going to be in the lineup. Jaden Ivey, I don't think anybody knows. I think a lot of Jaden Ivey's problems stem from the fact that, like you kind of alluded to in the previous video, Dave, is that Cade Cunningham's uncertainty in the backcourt and what his best position is kind of forcing Ivey just to kind of do whatever out there, right? And not because Ivey is a guy who can seriously get downhill and can finish at the rim, right? His shooting comes and goes. His defense comes and goes. His rebounding comes and goes. But his ability to get downhill and attack the rim is not questioned. That's what he's best at. But would Jaden Ivey be best off the bench? Probably. I think that's probably his best role. I said that coming in when he was in the draft, and I still stand by it. I think I'll check after this exactly where I had him, but I think one of the interesting names is Colin Sexton, right? He's a player that's had a lot of talent, right? Ricky, I'll throw this to you. We saw him a lot in his Cleveland days and a little bit in his Utah days. I think Utah kind of fell off a cliff last year, towards like a quarter of the way, halfway through the season. What's your outlook on Colin Sexton, and do you think he can reach the heights again that he did in Cleveland previously?
I'm going to ask you guys, because I haven't looked. Where did you guys personally have Sexton on your rankings?
Dave had him 22 and I had him 24.
Okay, so we're in the same range because I had him 22. Maybe it's me thinking because he's on the Jazz and I don't think the Jazz are going to be like that great. I just look at it and go, he's a dude. Like he is what he is, he's a guard that you can throw out there in the starting two. I'll be honest, sometimes I liked it better when they were running him with the second unit and just letting him have the show. He's one of those that falls into a weird ground of me of it's kind of like the debate we have with Kobe White. Is he better with the ball in his hands or not in his hands? And if he's the starting two, how often is he going to have that ball in his hands?
Yeah, and I mean, the depth of young guys who need minutes and experience on Utah is kind of crazy. So we've all been screaming at them to kind of filter through that roster and make some trades, move some guys out of there who have value around the league. And I think Colin Sexton's one of those guys, not on a terrible contract. Offensively, he will give you something. Defensively, he is not good. He's an undersized shooting guard, though. That's literally you are physically limited because, unfortunately, you are a shorter guard. And he got that whole defense. I did love that. I forget which video I was watching. They brought up did this man just get a defensive reputation for losing the game 3v5? Because he hustled a bunch in that game.
He did.
Yep. Great for him. But I don't know that he's not bad. But again, I think a lot of these guys where they're specialists, defensively or whatever, Sexton's just a bucket. He is a good, efficient scorer. But he's a liability because he's not a two-way player. And I think that goes for a lot of these guys in this list. A lot of these guys, especially in the next section too. There's no overlap.
Especially in the next session.
Yeah.
I just need to point it to, and Ricky, I'm sure you knew this one was coming when I was looking at your list.
Yeah, I totally. I'm prepared for it.
Okay, you're prepared for this. So just for reference, Dave has pods at 24. I have pods at 27. Ricky has pods at 10. So Ricky, lay out the case.
There really is no case besides the fact as I up. I thought Pods had a better. Yet again, I was doing this all on vibes. I wasn't looking at stats. I wasn't looking. I did. I already preemptively. I was doing it off of vibes. I didn't look at stats. Like, what would I rather have? And I was like, you know what? Pods. I liked him in college. I liked him in Illinois. I like what he brings. And then like I looked at his stats. I'm like, yeah, I could have him a little bit lower, probably. So yeah, that was a complete faux pas on me. But it doesn't change my love for Pods. It's a biasy
But if you thought
ranking.
his impact was that far beyond his numbers, I mean, that does say something. Like, you watched Warriors games.
He does play on the best. He does play on probably not the best team win-wise, but best coach, best shooting guard, like
best point guard.
Point guard. That's he shoots. That's what I'm saying. Point guard.
Can I get a little
They used to have the best shooting guard.
VAR
we do
check.
not. Yeah.
VAR check. Yeah, definitely not the best coach, but continue.
No, he is. Steve Kerr's the best coach in the league.
He's not.
I don't even know
every single time we've had rankings, he's been number one.
We're not even maybe we have to pivot and do coaching rankings because I don't know. We were going to do coaching rankings eventually. I don't even know if I'd.
I know some people say this guy called Pop is, but like he's good, but he's number two.
Not him either.
No. I've heard some people ranked him somewhere in the late teens, if I remember correctly, or mid-teens maybe.
Really?
Wait, that list that I sent you? Yeah. There's some random list that rank coaches. I don't want to get sidetracked, but he was way too low.
Who are you referring to then, Jake?
Eric Spoelstra.
Oh, you know what? I can respect that.
Wizard.
I'm not used to having someone who respects Eric Spoelstra in the main seat. No, in the main seat, Dave.
In the main seat. In
the driver's seat.
I think Eric. I don't want to diverge too much. But I
Dave thought I was going after him.
I think Pods is one of those guys. I think Dave kind of alluded to it a little bit. He does more than his box score says, right? He's everywhere when you watch a Warriors game, right? Because at the beginning of the year, it's Steve Kerr with young players. He doesn't trust them originally, right? TJD and Pods had to fight for every minute they got. Even with how bad Andrew Wiggins was on that team this year, they still had to fight.
He was MIA, and I mean, Moses Moody still couldn't get minutes.
Exactly.
So I think
now Pods, it'll just be interesting to see. I had Pods, I think the lowest out of all of us, which isn't really an insult to him. I just have not seen enough yet, right? I saw spurts and I saw little kind of windows of talent, and he clearly has talent there. I will be interested to see where his game evolves and what he does, because he does a lot. He's not nowhere near the player, but he's a lot of like a versatile player who can stand at the free throw line and make passes, who can kind of cut off ball and be on the weak side of a defense and cut baseline. I don't know. Draymond is kind of like, I'm not saying he's fading out because obviously he has a couple years left, but Draymond that's obviously taken a step back the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and if they're going to keep playing the same way that they have, they're going to have to find players who can do some of his qualities. And Pods might be one of those guys that can kind of plug in some of those and be switchable and be making passes on the weak side and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and he's going to have to continue to work on his shot. I mean, without Klay Thompson there, you need to blow off valve for Steph Curry. I really do expect, I think expectations are incredibly high for him this year, because you said it, like last year he was all hustle, all heart. He was one of the best rebounding guards in the NBA. Same story was true in college. Like, he is 100% effort all the time, which is great. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of dependency on his shot, and then a lot of dependency on him getting better at defense. You're gonna hear that a lot for the next hour. Is you gotta play defense. Steve Kerr lets him get away with it sometimes because he really, really chooses to dislike Moody a lot. After, I mean, like, the guy popped off in the playoffs, and then the next game he's like, "Nah, I'm not playing him."
He does it with Kuminga too.
Yeah,
he does it with Kuminga too. Kuminga so much that he wanted to leave the team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. I'd love to have him.
What would we give up for him?
We almost it was a Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso deal.
Yeah, now that Caruso's gone,
I would have loved that.
Yeah. Don't go to the Bulls. Don't go to the Bulls. Sorry, I have to diverge.
Point being, I think he's got a lot of room to go upward. I think honestly he can take a big leap this year because of that opportunity and 100%. Because of the trust that Steve Kerr gives him. So he, in a year from now, he could leap up 10 spots. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I will throw one of the interesting names is Ricky. I don't mean to come to you, but like pick on you in any way. I just know that I'll reverse it. Dave, you have Austin Reeves the lowest out of all of us.
Yeah, Hillbilly Kobe.
So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on him?
I think that his game is to take shots and get to the foul line. He does that pretty well. I think that he gets more love than he deserves because Lakers, and of course, like THT was going to be the next superstar. We're going to, have him be the guy after a couple of summer league games. What do we?
Did we move into the next section yet? Because you didn't list off.
Oh,
Austin
I jumped. I jumped.
I was going to say, you said Austin Reeves, and I was like,
I did have Austin Reeves
20.
ranked like 24.
That's on me.
That is why you were getting. I was giving those faces like, wait, did I zone out and miss something?
Well, you got a preview of why Austin Reeves is mid.
Welcome back. Welcome to the back. It's going to take me a couple shows to get used to this.
I was just confused.
Welcome to the back.
It's going to take a couple shows. So yeah, we've discussed most of the people in this section. I think
was the person you were going to throw at me in the bottom section?
Wait, what do you mean?
You said you were going to go to me, and then you said no. Actually, I'll go to Dave.
It was Reese, but I was going to stop and talk about somebody real quick because we talked on most people except for a couple of them. I wanted to stop there. I think there's really only 3 people left. We haven't talked about Terrence Mann much.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Mann is Terrence Mann. He's Mr. Untouchable. He wasn't available when James Harden trades, but now Retro's talking about trading him.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. The 3 names that I was talking about was Bogdan, Gary Trent, and Shaden Sharp. Those are the 3 that we haven't talked about. Is there any of those 3 that you guys want to highlight?
I don't care about Gary Trent, but Bogdan Bogdanovic, we talked about in the last section. He is a clutch shooter, offensive. Just he makes things work. Appreciate the word things there. And I did expect, we expect him in the starting lineup as a potential spot because he's the best player. The problem is that I don't quite know, like Jake alluded to, like it probably has a chance to have like Dyson Daniels in there, but also there's a bunch of guys who could get looks at the wing the same way. So like, right now he's a sure thing. We know who he is, and we know he's an incredibly gifted shooter. And I think he doesn't get enough credit for his creation and his on-ball creation. His passing skills are just like he's what you want out of that secondary, tertiary, ball handler on a roster. So I think his ranking here seems bad, but it kind of falls in that same case of like you're one of the best bench players in the league, and that's what you've shown us. But in the starting lineup, like people are putting different level of expectations on you. Maybe here, I had him much higher.
I am at 16. Gary Trent.
Are you the
Jake's the hater.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm not a hater.
You had him at 24.
I had him at 24, and it's again. How do I explain this? I had this exact conversation with Retro a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Gary Trent.
Good eye, mate.
Good day, mate. I don't think it's so much of a hatred of Gary Trent. I'm just going to be interested in their system, what looks he's going to get, because he's going to get really he's not going to get many opportunities with the ball in his hands at all, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you have Dame, Giannis, and now Chris Middleton, who Chris Middleton was great in the playoffs, shout out. It'll just be interesting. I don't know. I think Gary Trent is good, and you kind of see again in my rankings, there's kind of a consistent thing. I kind of kept a lot of the 3-and-D guys towards that 15 and below mark, right? I just don't know how expansive Gary Trent Jr.'s game is going to be, and I also think, I don't think GMs always get it right, but the fact that nobody went out and tried to get his until he signed a minimum, right? It's kind of the same thing. Now I can be proven wrong, just like Dave was last year with Oubre, right? Oubre didn't sign until I think it was like a couple weeks ago last year, right? That he signed on a minimum, but nobody went out to get Gary Trent Jr. The Raptors weren't overzealous to overpay him, anything like that. I think he is a good player, but I think a lot of what he does is easily replaceable. So yeah, I think that'll do it for the 20-30. Unless you guys have any thoughts.
Shaden Sharp, stay healthy.
That's it.
You're dope. You're dope.
Yep.
Just stay healthy.
Sick. Just stay healthy. Ricky, anything?
No, not really. I can't wait to get up into. Yet again, with a lot of these rankings, it's like it's almost like a meal. This is kind of like the lower part is the drinks portion, then the appetizer in the middle, and then the main course at the end.
You're really thinking about that burger and that.
I'm really thinking. That's why my kitchen is that way. I'm like leaning and turning. I got fries also.
Oh man.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.